Hello and welcome to the Machona podcast. I hope you've had a great week. Mine has been wonderful. So today we're talking about insecurities in relationships. Now, in today's world, insecurities in relationships are very common, and usually couples find themselves, struggling to communicate effectively to try and build strong foundations for their relationships. These insecurities, can come from many sources, such as past experiences, emotional trauma, and sometimes even cultural expectations, like in the society that I live in. By understanding the source of these insecurities, couples can be able to find a way of beginning their healing process and also rebuilding their relationships if they have already been affected by these insecurities. Now, the first step to addressing insecurities in relationships is to identify the source of the insecurity. Because there are various causes, you first of all need to understand the root of the problem so that you can be able to address it. Now, most common sources of these experiences would be maybe your partner has had a traumatic event in their past relationships, and now they are struggling to bring themselves back to giving 100% effort in their current relationship. And so if necessary, this is where it's important to also seek professional help through counseling, for example. And other sources of insecurities that are common nowadays are, even cultural experiences, because we are a modern society. And in this modern society, usually things that deal with cultures are not really followed to the T. And so when one partner, for instance, is following that particular cultural expectation and the other one may not be following it, then it feels like there is a disconnect somewhere, and it starts to then bring up feelings of insecurity, because you feel like you're not living up to the expectation of your partner or such things. And some common expectations from society or from cultures are, like, for example, who should lead in decision making in the relationship, or who is the head of the house or the home, as it is often said. Who's the primary provider? Who brings in the bag? Who is the primary caregiver? So who looks after the home, or who looks after the kids, for instance. And these expectations can usually create tension, because if one or both partners feel they're not living up to the expectations, then it becomes a problem. And this is where it's important for couples to discuss such issues and negotiate on a solution that works better for both of them. Because what works for one home might not necessarily work for another, or what works in a particular relationship might not work for the other. So you need to sit down with your partner and find a plan on how to move forward. What you did in your past relationship is not necessarily what is going to work in the current one. So it is very important to talk about these things so that you understand what the expectations from your partner are. And once the source of these insecurities has been identified, the next step obviously is to start the process of healing. Now, how do you start to heal as a couple? Now, this involves, discussing the issue, and each partner must be given a chance to express how they feel, and so you need to create a safe space for the both of you. When you are giving your side of the story or your opinion on the issue, give your partner a chance to speak as well, so that they feel comfortable and respected. Because if it's only one person who's giving out opinions, then the other person will be thinking, so why am I here, or why are we having this conversation if you've already made up your mind? And then that starts to make it look like it's a one-way street, for lack of a better term. if you are not able to find lasting solutions to whatever issue it might be, again, therapy or counseling would be what helps here. Now, in these cases, sometimes it's just finding maybe an older person who's been maybe in a marriage for a long time. They know how to navigate through difficult times. They can be able to give you some sort of advice, because some societies don't really like to go to a professional. They would rather just speak to an elderly person so that they get some advice on how they have sustained their relationship or marriage for a long time. And this also helps. Of course, you're going to discern by yourself as well and see the information that is given, whether it works for you or if it doesn't. But at least try to do that. Now, in order to begin this healing process, it is also important that as a couple, you learn how to communicate with each other. You need to learn healthier communication techniques. Now, this kind of communication can involve, active listening, where both partners, like I said before, take turns to express their viewpoints and also to listen to the other person's perspective. You sit down, you put out your opinion, the other person also puts out their opinion, and then you try to find common ground from the solutions that have been put up, and this will help you to know exactly where your partner's mind is at, and also let them know where your mind is at as well, and then you find common ground. And you need to be patient, and you also need to be honest with each other, because just saying words that you feel are right for the situation is not good enough. You need to be honest, express exactly how you feel, so that when a solution has been put up, it is going to help you, because this healing process is for you as a member of that relationship. Don't be looking at your partner, that they need to sort themselves out. You need to sort yourself out just as well as they need to sort themselves out, so that you both make each other better for one another. And this is where the issue really lies, because we always expect the other person to do better, and we think we are in a better space than them, but in actual sense we should be focusing on ourselves, so that it is easier for the other person to relate with us and to find happiness in us. So that is very important. And so once this process has begun, the couples can focus on rebuilding their relationship, and this is also helped by setting up healthy boundaries and prioritizing quality time together. It is important to continue, this healthy communication, obviously, and the more time spent, the more emotions grow. So you should be supportive of each other and focus on positive aspects. Stop focusing on the negatives, because when you are trying to heal, you look at things that are going to heal you, not things that made you sick. So that is very important. Focus on the positives so that you move forward. Now, when all is said and done, obviously these insecurities can be difficult and challenging issues to deal with, but understanding the source of the insecurities and taking steps to address them, this is the first and most important thing. And you must also be willing to correct whatever insecurities that you have, because you can only correct something that you understand is not going well, or something that you understand is a problem. Once you acknowledge that there is a problem in you, then that's when you can take steps to address it. And with dedication and patience, obviously, you can create a stronger foundation for the relationship to overcome any future insecurities. So, as it is always said, friendship first, and then when you add love to it, things flow very well, because sometimes love isn't enough. So you need friendship to fall back on, because if someone is truly your friend, then if everything else does not work, you still have a friend who cares for you and who's got the best at heart for you. So this is what I had. Work on those insecurities, trust your partner, and also have empathy for your partner, and understand that when you have these conversations, you are trying to find a solution and not attacking each other. So I would appreciate your comments, your advice, and any other issues that you'd want me to talk about. Please leave me a comment. That would be very much appreciated. So have a great week, and we shall talk again next week.